tonight's special program with an episode presented on April 23rd, 1946, entitled Make Ready My Grave.
Lipton Tea and Lipton Soups present Inner Sanctum Mysteries. Good evening, friends of the Inner Sanctum. This is your host, opening the squeaking door for another session of the AGGMS, the Association of Ghouls, Ghosts, and Midnight Spirits. Oh, may I see your membership card as you enter, please? Oh, what's that? Oh, no, it's not a printed card. All you have to do is show me your wrist. If there's any blood pulsing in your arteries, then you don't belong here tonight. Better come back and try some other time after you've passed your mortuary test.
Well, Mr. Host, I'm afraid I don't qualify as a member of your AGGMS, Association of Ghouls or whatever it is. But I am a charter member of the ILLB Society.
The ILLB? What's that, Mary? It's a new one on me.
Why, those initials stand for I Like Lipton's Best. To join this club, all you have to do is see that the tea in your teapot is always Lipton's. The club password isn't a word at all. It's that familiar sound of appreciation. For really, Lipton tea is delicious, as zestful and spirited as can be. And the reason? Very simple. It's Lipton's brisk flavor. Brisk, you know, is the tea expert's own word for the lively, full-bodied flavor of Lipton tea. That brisk flavor has made a lot of friends for more folks buy and enjoy Lipton's than any other tea in the world. So try a cup of Lipton tea yourself. I know you'll say, as so many others do, I like Lipton's best.
And now, for tonight's Inner Sanctum Mystery. It's an original radio play by Emil Timperman called Make Ready My Grave, and stars two radio favorites, Joan Banks and Richard Widmark. It's about a boy and a girl who've just been married, a piece of colored string, an open grave, and a hangman's noose. That train is the Southeast Limited. See it? Long and sleek and powerful, ticking off the miles on the humming rails. A masterpiece of 20th century mechanical perfection. Nothing about it to suggest lurking hate, or fear, or superstition, or death. But let's take a look into compartment A, car 17. John and Betty Loomis, just married, are going for their honeymoon to John's ancestral estate.
John, I'm so happy.
Me too.
How soon do we get to Loomisville?
Oh, in about an hour, Betty.
Just think, I married into one of the oldest families in the state.
I hope you'll be very happy, darling.
I will. You do love me, don't you, John?
Of course I do, baby. I'll always love you. Always. No matter what happens.
What do you mean, no matter what happens? What could happen? John, something's bothering you.
No, it's nothing at all.
You're hiding something. There's something you haven't told me.
It's nothing, Betty. It's nothing to worry about.
You don't want to tell me?
No, not now. Maybe later.
Why are you playing with that piece of yellow string?
What?
You've been playing with it ever since we got on the train.
Gosh, I never even noticed.
I watched you. You've been tying a knot in it.
A knot? Good Lord, I must have tied it without knowing what I was doing.
You've tied it into a noose. A hangman's noose.
I don't know how I came to make it or where I picked it up.
Well, it's only a piece of string.
Yeah, it's only a piece of string. Betty,
What is it, John?
here, take this.
A gun?
Take it.
But why?
If I should ever try to strangle you,
John!
please listen to me. If I should ever try to strangle you, promise me to use that gun on me.
What are you talking about?
Oh, this is where we get off.
John, what's this all about? This piece of yellow string and now that gun?
Put it away, Betty, and remember what I said. Don't ever forget it.
Why is it so dark here?
This is just a way station. The train only stops here to let us off. Otherwise, it goes right on through.
Oh, well, I thought Loomisville was a big town.
Well, it used to be 100 years ago, but now there's only the Loomis estate.
Are we far from the estate?
About 2 miles. Old Herman Galt should be here to pick us up in the station wagon.
Herman Galt?
He's the handyman. There's been a Galt working for the Loomis family for the last 150 years.
John, I don't like it here. It's dark and that wind
Where
and...
the devil can Galt be? I wrote them what train we were taking.
I'm right here, Mr. John.
Oh, Galt, you frightened my wife.
I'm sorry, ma'am, if I scared you.
Oh, that's all right. It's just the way you spoke so suddenly out of the darkness.
If you'll follow me, I've got a station wagon back here.
John, he doesn't like me.
Galt? No, that's just his way. He's very devoted to the family. Wait till you get to know him.
I don't think I care to. John, he's driving too fast. And it's so dark.
Don't worry, Betty. Galt knows this road like the back of his hand. We'll be there in a few minutes.
Oh, I'm frightened, Johnny. Please, tell me why you gave me that gun.
No, I can't tell you now, Betty. Maybe after you meet Uncle Everard.
John?
What?
What's that in your hand?
Where? Oh.
Another piece of string. A red one this time.
Oh, I must have picked it up in here off the seat.
Oh, and you've knotted it into another hangman's noose.
Galt?
Yes, Mr. John.
This piece of red string, did you put it here?
No, sir.
Then how did it get here?
You ought to know.
Yes, I ought to know.
Colt, why are we stopping here?
We're home, ma'am. This is the entrance to the Loomis estate. I've got to get out and open the gate. I'll be right back.
Betty, I've got to get out too. I've got to see for myself.
See what, John?
You stay here, Betty. Stay right where you are.
Wait a minute. I'm coming too.
Go back, Betty. Get back in the car.
Mr. John is right, ma'am. You shouldn't go with him.
Take care of her, Galt. I won't be long.
Galt, where's he going?
That is the Loomis family cemetery.
Oh, what does he want to see there in the middle of the night?
He'll tell you himself, ma'am, in due time.
No, I'm going to find out right now.
Better not, ma'am. Better come back.
John! John, wait for me!
Betty, I told you to stay in the car.
I'm going with you. I want to know what there is in that cemetery.
Get back in that car.
I'm your wife now. I have a right to know what this is all about. I'm going with you.
Oh, all right, if that's the way you feel about it. But hold on to that gun I gave you. Keep it in your hand all the time.
John, why?
You'll find out soon enough. This is the gate of the family cemetery. All the Loomises and their wives are buried here.
Oh, it's so shadowy. White tombstones look like ghosts. Oh, hold my hand, John.
No, just hold on to that gun.
John, whose grave is this with the high tombstone?
My great-grandfather's, Stuart Loomis. He founded the Loomis estate. This is my grandfather's grave. His wife, there's my father, and my mother.
And that's all?
Well, that should be all.
What do you mean?
Oh, come over here. This is what I came to see. This is what I've been afraid of.
John! John, it's an open grave, freshly dug.
Yes, Betty, it was just dug tonight.
But who is it for?
Oh, Betty, darling, I'm afraid it's for you.
Well, what's poor Betty letting herself in for, with a fresh grave waiting for her on her honeymoon, and a husband who ties little strings into hangman's nooses? But you know, come to think of it, Betty's a lucky girl at that. How many girls who get married nowadays can count on finding a nice, snug place all ready for them to lie down and rest in peace?
Gracious, Mr. Host. Betty doesn't seem like a lucky bride to me. Why, most brides have things much easier, because there's so many things today to help them make their marriage a success.
For example?
For example, Lipton tea. With Lipton tea on the pantry shelf, a young bride today has a much better chance of making her home a happy one. Just the other day, I was talking to a friend who just got married. As we sat there in her kitchen sipping our Lipton tea, me occupying the only chair, and she perched on the kitchen stool, she said, "You know, Mary, it was silly of me to worry about being able to cook the things Jack liked. It's not nearly as difficult as I imagined. Take this Lipton tea here. It answers the whole beverage problem as far as Jack is concerned. He's happy as long as he has Lipton's morning, noon, and night." Well, I told her I could understand that, because most husbands I know about are partial to Lipton tea, and it's because of the extra satisfaction that's in Lipton's wonderful brisk flavor. Satisfaction, did I say? You just try Lipton tea and see if that isn't an understatement. Try Lipton's tomorrow.
And now, let's hurry back to our date in a graveyard. Remember? With poor Betty, whose husband has just told her he's afraid the freshly dug grave is for her.
John, what do you mean? Who dug this grave for me? Who?
If I told you, you'd think I was crazy.
No, you've got to tell me. If I'm in danger, I have a right to know. Was it Galt? Your Uncle Everard?
No. No, at least I don't think so.
His wife? Christine?
Betty, do you believe that a ghost could dig a grave?
A ghost? Do you mean I'm in danger from a ghost?
Oh, I told you you'd think I was crazy.
John, why are you looking at me like that?
I don't know. Betty, have you got that gun with you?
No, I left it in the car. What good would a gun be against a ghost?
There's a station wagon still waiting at the gate, but I don't see Galt.
Well, maybe he went up to the house.
Galt, where are you?
Hello there, John.
What?
What's up?
Uncle Everard. What happened to Galt?
He came up to the house, said you'd gone into the cemetery, so I thought I'd better come down.
Oh,
Is it there?
yes, it's there. A freshly dug grave.
Oh,
Uncle Everard, this is my wife, Betty.
how are you, Betty?
Hello.
You saw the grave too, Betty?
Yes, and John thinks it's for me. I'm afraid. I don't understand all this.
You haven't told her anything yet, John?
Well, just a little. I couldn't bring myself to.
I think it's time you did. More tea, Betty?
Thank you, Uncle Everard. I will have a little more.
And you, John?
No thanks.
Too bad Christine is ill. She's upstairs in our room. But I hope she'll be better by tomorrow. You can see her then.
Maybe. That grave out there, maybe it'll be filled tomorrow.
John, don't you think it's time that you kept your promise to tell me what this is all about?
You tell her, Uncle Everard.
Well, Betty, there's a ghost in the Loomis family. That's it in a nutshell.
Oh, I see. And it was the ghost who dug that grave, huh?
I know it sounds mad, but after 150 years, we Loomises have come to the conviction that it can't be anything but a ghost.
150 years? You mean it's...
John's great-grandfather, Stuart Loomis, settled this strip of seacoast under a patent from the colonial governor. That's his picture over the fireplace.
He doesn't look much like you, John.
Stuart Loomis was a hard man. There was a French privateer in these waters who made a lot of trouble in those days, Gaston Leroux, who sailed the seas with his wife, Antoinette.
But what has a French pirate and his wife got to do with that grave?
Stuart Loomis captured Leroux and his wife, and under the authority conferred upon them by the governor, had the power to hang them.
You mean the woman, too?
Yes, he hanged both of them on a gibbet where our family's cemetery now stands.
Oh, how terrible.
Before he died, Gaston Leroux had a course on the Loomis family. He swore that just as his wife was hanged, he would hang all the women and would see them die. He swore that he would come back and dig a grave for the wife of a Loomis in every generation, and furnish the noose by which a Loomis would strangle his own wife.
But that's incredible.
A short while afterward, a fresh grave was found beside the gibbet where Leroux had been hung. That night, Stuart Loomis' wife, John's great-grandmother, was found hanging by the neck from eaves of this very house.
And Stuart Loomis?
I told you Stuart Loomis was a hard man. and had made many enemies. There were many who hated him deeply, bitterly. He was arrested and tried for the murder of his wife, convicted, executed.
Now you know the secret of the Loomis family.
But, John, that doesn't prove there's a ghost.
No, that one incident doesn't prove it. But it happened again when the next Loomis married, John's grandfather, and to the next Loomis, John's father. Sometimes a year after he married, sometimes 5 years, but the curse never fails.
It's happened in every generation?
Yes. And now John Loomis has brought a new wife home, and there's a freshly dug grave waiting in the family cemetery.
And I'm the next, huh?
I don't know, Betty. Maybe that grave isn't for you.
What?
Maybe it's for Christine, for my wife.
This is all ridiculous. A ghost couldn't dig a grave, make John strangle me to death. Uncle Everard, you can't believe such a legend. It can't be true.
Maybe not, my dear, but the graves of the strangled Loomis women are out there to prove it. There, this is your room, Betty. I'll have Galt call you at 8 tomorrow morning. Good night.
Good night, Uncle Everard.
Good night, John.
Good night, Uncle Everard.
This is such a big room. It's so gloomy.
The whole house is like this. It lies gloomy and sullen under the Loomis curse. Oh, Betty, I love you so much. We'll beat the curse together.
Oh, let me go, darling. I want to change my clothes and wash.
All right. There's the bathroom over there.
Oh, only be a minute.
All right, darling.
Oh, it's a lovely...
Betty, what is it?
Oh, John, quick!
What?
Look! Hanging from the shower bar.
What? A hangman's noose.
It's a real one this time, of rope.
Ready to hang someone.
Who put it there?
It's the Loomis curse. We can't get away from it.
Oh, no ghost could have hung that rope there.
Well, let's call Uncle Everard.
All right.
Have you got the gun with you?
No, it's in my handbag.
Well, get it.
But John,
Get it, I say.
All right, John. Here. Oh, here, I've got it.
Now, all right. Now keep it with you all the time. And don't be afraid to use it. On me, if necessary.
All right. Well, let's get your uncle.
Well, this is his room. I wonder if I ought to wake him. It might upset Aunt Christine. She's sleeping.
We've got to wake him. Better knock harder.
Well, it wasn't locked.
Well, call him.
Uncle Everard? Uncle Everard! He doesn't answer, but there's a light in their room.
Oh, push the door open further.
Okay. Well, there's nobody in the room. The bed's empty. Uncle Everard? Aunt Christine?
Well, maybe in the bathroom. The door is open. Oh, John, look!
Aunt Christine?
She's hanging by the neck.
She's dead.
It's the same kind of noose that's in our bathroom.
Uncle Everard hanged her. It's the Loomis curse catching up with us. Well, Galt, any trace of Uncle Everard?
I searched the whole house, basement to attic. Not a sign of him.
Then he must have gone out. Come along.
But it's raining.
We've got to find him, Betty. Come on.
Oh, it's so dark out here. How will we ever find him?
I have a flashlight, ma'am. Here, look.
What?
Fresh footprints in the slush.
Oh, they must be Uncle Everard's. They lead down toward the cemetery. Come on, Galt.
Here, Mr. John, you can see for yourself. The footprints lead right to this new grave.
But why did he come here?
There's the answer, Betty. A cross at the head of the empty grave. Throw your flashlight on it, Galt. There's something written on it.
It says Christine Loomis.
Betty, what is it?
Oh, look over there.
Another grave. He's dug another one.
There's a cross on this one, too.
Does it say anything?
Yes, it does. It says Betty Loomis.
John, sit close to me. That portrait of Stuart Loomis over the fireplace looks so real. It frightens me.
Now remember, Betty, whatever happens, hold on to that gun and don't be afraid to use it tonight.
Where's Galt?
Well, he ought to be here soon. He went to look for some weapons.
Here I am, Mr. John.
Galt, you always frighten me coming in so quietly.
I'm sorry, ma'am. Here, Mr. John. These ought to be pretty good weapons.
Scythes.
Yes, I had them sharpened only the other day. They could slice a man's head off in one stroke. Take one, Mr. John.
Well, thanks, but I'd hate to use it on Uncle Everard.
If he shows up tonight, you'd better use it.
Well, maybe he's come back into the house through the back way.
I'll go through the house again if you'd like. This time I'll start with the attic.
Be careful, Galt.
I will, Mr. John.
John, I don't like him.
Galt?
And I don't think he likes me either.
No, that's not true.
Darling, what's that?
Oh, must be Galt in the attic.
Help, Mr. John. Help.
He must have met Uncle Everard hiding up there. Stay right here, Betty, and hold on to that gun.
John, be careful.
Don't worry. Just take care of yourself.
John, come back. I'm frightened. I'm afraid to be alone. There's nothing to be afraid of. I mean, I have this gun, and if anyone comes and... The lights went out. Who's there? Who's in this room? Don't come any closer. I have a gun and I'll shoot. I can't see you, but I'll shoot at the sound. John! Rope around my neck. Let go, or I'll shoot.
It's not loaded. I took the bullets out when you left it in the car.
Galt!
Yes, ma'am, it's gold. Mr. John is busy up in the attic with the body of Mr. Everard. I killed him too, and when Mr. John comes downstairs, he'll find you. And I'll cut him down in the dark with my scythe.
But why? Why?
There were others besides the pirate Moreau who hated Stuart Loomis. Like my own great-grandfather. He was in the service of Stuart Loomis, and he hated him. When Moreau laid the curse on the Loomises, my great-grandfather decided to make it come true. It was he who strangled the wife of Stuart Loomis, and through the years the Galts from father to son have handed down their hate.
You're mad!
Maybe I'll tighten the noose and finish you.
Betty, where are you? Why is it dark in here?
John!
Betty!
John, look out! His God has a scythe!
And so am I!
John! John! Who is it?
Oh, darling. Darling, where are you?
Here, John. Oh, darling!
Betty, We've finished forever with the Loomis curse.
Well, that was a pretty rough honeymoon for Betty. But you know, there's a lesson in her story for forgetful wives. Yes, if you keep tying little colored strings to your fingers to remind you of things and you still can't remember them, why not try a rope neatly tied around your neck? It's sure to help you forget. And so our evening's over, with the usual quota of corpses to qualify for the ghoul school. We're working on a special matriculation for bachelor ghouls. Oh, in case you didn't know, a bachelor ghoul is one who believes that two can die as cheaply as one. Good night. I'm your host, Bob Dolan. And the part of Mary, who was the Lipton tea lady, was played by Sue Gadzinski. Our announcer for Make Ready My Grave was Tom Duggan. Betty, the wife in our newlyweds here tonight, Donna Amosmeyer. And her husband, John, was played by Jay Summerfield. The conductor was Robert Morris. And Everard, John's affable uncle, was played by Herb Thompson. The sinister handyman Herman, well, that was Dave Sanchi. Make Ready My Grave was directed by Andre Dixon.
We hope you enjoyed our presentations tonight, and we return next month on Friday, November 21st. We will be a week earlier than usual, so as not to interfere with everyone's time to enjoy their family and friends on Thanksgiving. Next month, the director will be Herb Thompson. Let's have a word from him.
As October moves to its inevitable close only a week from now, we already are dressed in our orange and black attire, some of us, and we look forward to the next month, November. If October was perhaps symbolized by Halloween, what do we think of in relation to November? Election Day. Turkey, Election Day. How about Thanksgiving? That's what I'm looking forward to. Thanksgiving makes me think of tradition and family and childhood and all things that maybe were good maybe sometime long ago. The first movie I ever saw in a theater was Walt Disney's first animated film. And what was it? Somebody had it over here, I think. Steamboat Willie. Snow White and the Seven Dwarfs. Oh my goodness. Well, okay, I'm not sure that it's necessarily directly related to Thanksgiving, but I think it's going to be fun to do something a little different. We might show the movie right on this big screen up here. Come on. But I don't think that's going to happen. I think rather we will take the first radio version of Snow White and the Seven Dwarfs, which was made and presented soon after the actual first showing, the premiere showings of Snow White and the Seven Dwarfs, the first feature film by Disney Animation. So it's a historic event.
What year?
37. That's right. 38 and 37. So we have experts up here.
We were there.
I was there, but I was too young to know I was there or where I was. Anyway, the 21st of November, 6 days before Halloween, Thanksgiving. It's a Friday night. We hope you'll be here, and it should be a lot of fun. It'll be quite different. It'll be a 1-hour Lux Radio Theater presentation. Thank you. We'll see you on the 21st of November.
I'd like to take special note of our sound effects. Marty McNulty. He does a heck of a job. And our technical staff, John Gelsomino and Lorenzo Cordoba. They make it possible for us to put our shows on YouTube, which you can see at www.
Riverside Township radioplayers.com.
Tonight, we give special thanks to Supervisor Richard Tusher and the trustees of Riverside Township for their continuing support of our efforts to present the very best of old-time radio. And representing them are the Kabinskis, Ann and Steve. I would also like to give special thanks to the members of the Riverside Township Radio Players. They put in a tremendous amount of effort to bring you these very strange shows. Please take a bow. Thank you. Again, we will see you next month on November 21st at 7:30 p.m. right here in the beautiful Riverside Township Auditorium. Good night to all of you.